Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Bright Funders Talk at Temi. Now, Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. Each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry, and today we have an amazing guest joining us, Pierluca Pelosi, founder and CEO at Mody, and other projects, which we will talk about in a second. Hello, Pierluca. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Barry. Thank you very much for having us.
We love having you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. As we normally introduce people on this show, we just want you to talk a little bit about yourself and tell us at the company that you work at.
So my name is Pierluca. I'm 26. I started my company 5 years ago. Basically, my background is very short because I'm very young. I studied management engineering, then I dropped out and I decided to start Mody because I understood that there was a lack in the market of size recommendation for clothing. So in 2020, we decided to start the project. For 2 years, we developed our um, own software for body scanning, and then we launched the company.
Mm-hmm. And were you always going to be an entrepreneur? You said you kind of parted from your university career. Was it pressure to go into university, or was it during university you realized actually that it wasn't really something that you wanted to do?
I think I started university. I was very enthusiastic about this new project of my life, basically. And I loved the university and management engineering. But when I understood that I could do something for this lack of the market we found, I started doing both together for 3 or 4 months. And then I decided to focus all my energies into the company. But I don't think university is not important. I think it's at the end you are gonna, as Steve Jobs said, the dots are important, no? So basically, everything you have done in your life will be useful, and university have been very useful for me for starting the company because basically the software we have made has a very important knowledge based on mathematics and engineering.
So, what was it in particular that you really wanted you to start this, like addressing the sizing problem in fashion and e-commerce? Was there a moment, a pivotal moment, or was it more of a gradual thing?
I can't say the name of the e-commerce I was visiting, but there was an advertising in which a girl took a picture to another girl, and I thought this was a new way to find the right size to buy because also for me that I'm a normal person, it was very hard to understand the precise size to buy on an e-commerce, and I thought there was a new way. I started investigating and understood that there were only questionnaires, very easy to use but not precise. Understood with the technologies that were emerging in 2019, 2020, we could do something better. And I started thinking about this new project.
Mhm. Why did you believe that AI was the right solution to this problem?
Let's talk about what other companies tried to use before. Uh, Statistic, basically. So with a questionnaire, I ask you some questions and I try to understand people that have purchased before with similar answers to yours, what size have chosen. And that's a way to predict the size, but it's not very accurate for small e-commerces, but also luxury e-commerces, because if I have sold this t-shirt a million times, it's easy to understand through statistic which will be your size. But if I have sold these 10 times, it's impossible to make a statistical model. So we thought that we could scan a body. So with a frontal and side image, we could scan a body, detect the body circumferences of the user, and try to have a match with the size guide, make something more precise. And at the beginning, my idea was just, okay, let's focus on the luxury market. Then we have collected more than 2 million body scans all over the world that allowed us to make another solution based on a questionnaire, but much more precise than what you can find in the market based on these big data sets. So also without taking the images today, we can predict up to 50 body circumferences and the body shape of the user and tell the user the right size to buy at a 99% of accuracy.
That's pretty good, isn't it? It's quite precise, isn't it? 99%.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
in terms of returning problem, like how much of an impact do like returns from missizing like have on retailers, particularly in terms of like shipping costs?
Okay, let's consider that half of the returns usually of a fashion e-commerce is due to the wrong size to buy. To the wrong size, sorry. So basically, we can actually reduce the total amount of returns about the 30%. That's basically the 60% of the size, the wrong sizes are not already returned with us, still returned with us. So basically, for big e-commerces, it's basically reducing margins. For small e-commerces, the wrong size is the death of the
Yeah.
e-commerce. So costs are higher than the revenue in case of small e-commerces due to the returns. So we
Mhm.
can work with both, try to solve problems of both parties. For one part is life. For the other part, for bigger e-commerces, is I'm different from my competitors and I want to give the user a better service.
Mhm. So maybe someone's watching this now. Who is Mody actually for? Is it for big companies, small companies? Like, who is your target market?
Okay, let's consider that we have customers all over Europe and some new customers in the United States. There is not a target I can give you now because we have very big companies with millions of users daily and very small companies with hundreds of users monthly. So
Mhm.
our service is thought to be installed into every type of e-commerce, and we have different licenses based on uh, on the sessions of the e-commerce. So we can work with every type of e-commerce.
And when you come up with this idea, is it just the returns part, or is it also Mody is offering like a psychological reassurance? Because sometimes customers might look at a product and think, oh, do you know what? It's probably going to be wrong, so I'm not even going to bother ordering. But if they have an AI like yours, they might be more likely to buy the product, even if maybe there is a wrong size involved. Does Mody offer that psychological reassurance to customers when they order these products?
Okay, yeah, that's a very important part because very often it happens that small e-commerces with a very loyal customer don't have returns. So it could be you could think my service is not useful for this e-commerce. Instead, I can tell you that we increase the conversion rate by 20 to 40%. So, uh, increasing conversion rate means an increase in the revenue without spending money in advertising. That's basically the sacred grail nowadays of e-commerce, is because advertising every day becomes more and more expensive, and you need to concentrate to focus into the customers you are bringing to your e-commerce. So yes, it's very important to give your customers more services to increase the conversion rate and increase the revenue, spending the same money.
And maybe that's not enough, but in addition to that, also by allowing customers to use the AI tool to help guide their measurements, it also has an impact on the environment, right? Because it's helping to reduce returns and the impact on the environment in turn.
Yeah, right. Let's consider that every time a return has been made, we have calculated that there is shipping costs in terms of economical terms, but also for the environment. When you consider the shipment, you have to consider the gas line, but also the rubber for moving for the transportations. You have to consider the paper for the pack, the plastic, and you have to consider also that very often the items that have been returned can't be resold. So if the
Mhm.
price of the item is very small, you can't resold. It's not economically interesting for the company to resell the item, and very often it goes to the landfills. So if you consider this cycle is not sustainable. Let's consider that e-commerce is growing. If you continue working like this, economically and environmentally, this cycle is not sustainable. So you have to start introducing services like the size recommendation, but also the virtual try-on service we have released to show your customer what will be the item dressed by him or her and give them the correct size. So services for not reducing.
So I do want to talk about Mody, but there's actually some other projects. You're holding out another project in the work at the moment, and there's something new. So could you tell us a little bit about other things that you're working on in addition to Mody?
We have talked about sizing. I've made a small introduction before about the virtual try-on. So we have understood that giving the user the right size to buy and showing the user the hyper-realistic try-on of what the user wants to buy is bringing the e-commerce to another step. But I started thinking about what's the lack again of services that could bring the user to not purchase something into an e-commerce. And very often it happens that I want to purchase something, also something very expensive, and the descriptions are very basic. I don't understand the materials from the images. I don't understand a lot of stuff. So we are thinking about a very new service, something probably you have seen before, but not at this level, because with our personal assistant, with the complete know-how of all the filiera and all the descriptions, the materials, all the information about the items you want to purchase, we can understand from your body shape, for your body dimension, from your colors, from your skin, and some more information, what are the right items for you, the best items for you, and we can suggest you the best items with all the descriptions you need in the right size, showing you with an image how the item dress on you. So this personal shopper will be another level AI assistant that will bring you and guide you during the purchase.
So is that going to be in combination with the sizing? So it's one complete package, or are they separate at the moment?
No, one complete package with size recommendation, virtual try-on, and personal shopper.
Sounds incredible. What's the uptake on that like? Are people like really excited, or are people a little bit skeptical? I think like we're kind of like in a situation now where AI is becoming more and more common and more involved in people's lives. When you position these products, when you see how they're adapting and the take up on the ground level, do you see a lot of enthusiasm, or do you see some like intrepidation or a bit nervousness about allowing AI into this forum?
I've seen that the attitude has changed during the years. So nowadays, what happens is that from the first day, we are giving 7-day free trial to all customers. Okay. And during 7 days, I don't want to show you that I'm going to reduce returns and increase the conversion rate. I want to show you the usage. So from the first day, users start using massively the services. And it demonstrates that users actually are very confident in using AI tools, but also demonstrates that there is a big lack into the e-commerce, into the fashion e-commerces, and we can basically reduce through our services this big gap between the physical and the digital store.
I'll call the term Mody because I don't really know the individual name of each of the sections. But in terms of like the whole complete experience, at its highest level, what are you aiming for? Is it like for like a one complete shopping experience with a personal assistant? What is your ultimate goal?
I think it's 10, 15 years. We are reading news about the growing e-commerces that we are going to replace the physical stores with digital stores. Nowadays, if you look for statistics, you try to understand what's the amount of sales that are made through the e-commerce for a brand or for a multi-brand that also have physical store. It's about 5 to 10, 15%, but very, very good e-commerces can make the 15% of the revenue. So I started thinking about, okay, I have a complete, I think the biggest market ever because if I go to a physical store, I can't find all the items. Into the web, you can find everything. It's very easy to use. It's accessible. Nowadays, we don't have payment problems. So what's the problem nowadays? I think the problem is the lack of services. So my goal, my final goal, is try to provide as much as possible services to fashion e-commerces to reduce this gap between the physical and digital store. And I think the only way to start making e-commerces profitable and to grow the revenue into the e-commerces are services. So don't wait for the users to start purchasing online. So let's give the users services, then the user will come.
I take it from what you're saying, like this product isn't just for people with online presence. It could potentially be for brick and mortar shops, like your high street shops, who may want to be opening their sales to other customers, and potentially this technology could be used for that. Is that right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We are already using our solutions also into physical stores, but something that we are talking about since 5 to 10 years is bringing together the physical and digital stores. So have the data of the users everywhere so that the user can purchase here, return something there. So have a complete 360 degrees experience into the store. So it's not something that must be separated, but it's something that can be bring together. Also, thanks to this type of services, because if you are a user that have used my service into an e-commerce and goes to the physical store of this brand in 5 seconds, the personal assistant into the physical store must know who you are, what are your body shape, what are your body dimensions, and what are the best items you have to propose to the user.
And for you as a CEO, as a founder, like what are the metrics that matter most to you?
I really don't like to talk a lot, to speak a lot about what we are doing, but it's very important when you make services to give your customers a real value. So at the end, what is important is that you start making a service, you give the service to your customers, and your customers can understand what's the price of the service and what are the advantages. So, and the advantages, the economical advantages we give fashion e-commerces are much more higher than the license we ask them to pay. And I think that's the goal. So not start creating stuff just for giving the user something. So give a better service to the user, give something important to your customer, to the fashion e-commerce. So if everyone is happy, at the end, the service will spread.
Are you basically trying to make fitting rooms obsolete? Are you kind of trying to destroy that and make it redundant? Is that your goal?
No, because I like the experience of the physical store. So I want to give users a real alternative to the physical store. So if I have time and I want to visit a physical store and live the experience of physical store, what the brand thought to give me, I think it's something different than purchasing something into an e-commerce. But it doesn't mean that if I want to purchase into an e-commerce, I don't need services. It
Mm.
means these are two separate and different, I think, way of purchasing something.
Do you see? I'm not sure if you have this data. Maybe you don't. Do you see different behaviors from different groups of people? For example, maybe men and women, or the older generation and the younger generation. Do you have access to that data? And if you do, what kind of trends are you seeing? Like, for example, I'm a guy. Like, I hate going to brick and mortar places. I hate trying on clothes. I prefer just to order online. So maybe I'm like most men. I don't know. Do you have that data?
Yep. We started with so the first service was just a body scanning solution, frontal side image. I could tell you the rest has to buy, and I understood that older users didn't use this service because they needed to take images, while younger users were very confident in making images, so they do daily. We started the second service is the questionnaire, the smart questionnaire based on this big data set of 2 million body scans. I've understood that basically every type of user is confident in using this questionnaire because in 5 seconds you have the right size to buy. So we started working also with older generations, older people. Then we launched the virtual try-on, and I understood that waiting for 40 seconds to see the garment on you is too much. Even if it's perfect, hyper realistic, it's too much. So we have released the second solution, the second model that in 10 seconds can show you the item on you. And I've seen younger people stay there and wait for virtual try-on. So you have to be fast, at the same time accurate. I think from a gender perspective, women are much more interested in looking at the details. Men are easier, I think, when they purchase something.
Yeah.
And from the age perspective, I think nowadays with the services we can make every type of person happy.
Okay, so if we look at your expectations of this, like, was there a surprise? Because I imagine you went in, you've done your research, and you think this is the way it's going to go. This is how I see it playing out. Did it play out exactly as you had expected, or were there a few surprises along the way?
Very big surprises. I thought that the most important thing nowadays was making a good service. But I understood that the most important thing to do is making a good marketing. And then you have to have a good service. So we have grown very slowly at the beginning because people don't trust you. So you have made something special, but you don't have the right investors. We didn't have investors because we are bootstrapped. You don't have customers at the beginning. So the first phase was very slow. Nowadays we are growing by 20% monthly, so on the monthly revenue. So we are very happy. Everything is going in the direction I thought, but really slower. But anyway, we are very happy about what we are doing.
Perfect. And just before we end, Pierluca, if someone's watching this now and they kind of feel inspired, you're a young guy, you're out there, you've got all these different projects, you've made yourself a nice little company, things are going well. What advice would you give to them so that they can learn from your example, or
Yeah.
basically not copy you?
No. You have to copy people and make something similar to them, but with your feelings, I think. But the only advice I can give younger people is really follow your dreams, because nowadays in 2026 with these AI tools, you can basically do whatever you want. If you fail, there is no problem. So try to do something, try to understand what's the market. If you fail, there is no problem. You go on, you do something else. But it doesn't mean that you have to stop after 3 months to to developing something. You have to continue till you have not reached the goal. So it's very important to continue. And if you don't stop at the hand, you will find the right way for your product.
Perfect. That's great advice. Pierluca, I just want to thank you again so much for talking with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It was a pleasure, Barry, and thank you very much again for having us.
That was Pierluca Pelosi, founder and CEO at Mody.